One of the biggest reasons we see for job failure in the first few weeks is lack of training. Nannies aren't trained when they start their jobs, and so they don't know what to expect. What was okay in one household isn't okay in another, and you need to figure out what these things are. Today I'm going to provide you with a checklist so that you can make sure you ask all the right questions before you start that first day on the job. If we haven't met before, I'm Michelle Kelsey, founder of the Nanny Solution by Nannies on Call. Each week I bring you new videos to educate and inspire you to get better jobs, make more money, and become respected within the industry. Let's have a look at the checklist so that you can ensure your success at your new nanny job. Communication. Of course, this is one of the most important things, and we talk about it all the time. But I'm not just talking about sitting down and going over how things are going every Friday. I'm talking about day-to-day communication. Should you be texting the family? Should you be texting mom or dad or grandma or a neighbor? Who should you be communicating with during the day? I recently heard a story from a nanny, and she was sending pictures to the mom all day on her first few days on the job. And she was sending pictures of the kids at the park and activities they were doing, and she was trying to be helpful and wanted it to be fun and have the mom be engaged in what they were doing. But what happened was mom was super busy at work that day and didn't see all the texts. And then all of a sudden she opened it up and she panicked because she saw all these texts from the new nanny. She didn't want, in this case, mom did not want to receive texts all day long. And so that's really important to communicate. Should I send you pictures all day long, or should I just contact you in case of an emergency? It's really helpful to know that up front. Today, I'm just going to go through 1 or 2 points in each of these categories. But if you look down below, we have a checklist that you can actually print off. Go to our website and print off, and you can go through all of the questions. But if I go through all the questions here, it's just going to be a really long and boring video. So I'll just give you 1 or 2 examples from each section. Next up is house rules. This is a big one, and it can cover a lot of things. Things like screen time, finding out, are the kids allowed an hour of screen time, or are they allowed to be on the screens all the time after school? You don't want the new child you're looking after to say, but mom lets us watch 3 hours after school, and you have to text mom on your second day to find out. These are things you want to ask and get answered so you know the rules ahead of time. Another one might be the neighbor child comes over to play. Does this need to be something that's prearranged, or can they just go back and forth between the houses and that's okay with the parents? All of these things are easy questions to ask, and the parents can ask them really quickly when you go down your checklist. Of course, this is a really big one, and it has a lot of things under it, but health and safety. For sure, on your first day of work, you want an emergency contact list, parents, neighbors, where a spare key is hidden. All of these things are so important. If you start on your first day and the parents are just so thrilled to have someone working and they have to rush off to work and you don't have these questions answered, you're just setting yourself up for disaster. What happens when you walk out the door and lock yourself out? I cannot tell you how many nannies I've talked to over the last 20 years who've locked themselves out of houses in the first couple of weeks of work. Knowing where a spare key is hidden is really important, and equally important is knowing the alarm code. Really basic things, and I know they seem like, well, who wouldn't do that? But when parents are in a rush and they don't provide you with an orientation or any information when you start, they maybe don't have a family manual. These are things that you can either create a family manual or know for yourself so that you're ready and emergencies don't arise that you don't know how to handle. Household appliances. I know I've been to so many people's houses that have fancy ovens or high-end equipment, and I don't know how to use them. So making sure you know how to use the equipment in the house before the parents leave so that you can make the kids lunches or prep the bottles, whatever it is, you want to be knowledgeable. I talked to one nanny recently, this isn't a household appliance actually, but I talked to one nanny recently who started a job, and the mom said, oh, do you want me to show you how to use the stroller? And of course the nanny's like, oh, I've done this forever. I know how to open a stroller. It's not a problem. It won't be a problem. And then she went to the park and went to open the stroller and could not get it unlocked. And she said to the 2-year-old little girl, how do mom and dad open the stroller? And the little girl demonstrates. She's like, I know, that's what I'm doing. but then there was a lock on the side she had to unlock. But this nanny specifically used Google, searched the name brand of the stroller, and then figured out how to use it on her own, which I thought was ingenious. She watched a YouTube video actually on how to do it. So I thought that was really smart thinking. But knowing how to use the appliances, knowing how to use all the equipment that they have in their home, really important. Daily routine. This you probably talked about during the interview process, but you do want a very specific daily routine. Are you in charge of bath time, meal time, nap time? What is it that you need to follow that the parents want? Because you're not a mind reader. You have to be told what the routine is for their children. Other things like, are the children allowed to take their toys from the playroom to the living room, or do the toys always stay in the playroom? Or can they do crafts at the kitchen table, or is there a specific craft table? I've had so many parents complain that nannies did crafts at the kitchen table and there was glitter and glue on it, and they were really upset. But when I asked them if they told the nanny where they should do their crafts, they didn't. So be proactive, find out from the family where they want these activities done so that you're not breaking any of the rules, because I do know that children will tell you whatever is best for them, right? So they're gonna tell you whatever they want to do. They're not gonna tell you what their parents want you to do. Transportation. Will you be using their car or your car? Are there car seats installed in your car? Are you responsible for doing that, or are the parents doing that? Are you allowed to take children on transit? These are some of the questions you want to ask around transportation. Even further, are the children allowed to eat in the car? We have lots of clients that children are not allowed to eat in the car. Also, in terms of driving, will you be charging mileage? Do they have a gas card? How are you paying for gas? How are you tracking these things? All very important. I know this is a lot to take on before your first day, and maybe it happens in the first week. But if you print off the checklist we have down below and you follow that and ask all the questions, you should be able to get them all answered really quickly and simply. They're not difficult. It just takes a little bit of time and effort to get to know the family. And the more questions you ask up front, the more likely your job will be successful moving forward. If there's any questions you ask when you first start a job, I'd love you to comment down below. Also, we have another video on how to succeed at your nanny job, so check that out. If there's anything else we can help you with, please let us know. Otherwise, I'll see you next Saturday. Bye.